having me. Thanks, Miguel. Miguel very kindly asked me to come in and share a little bit of my story with you guys as an example of someone who has a career, has a job and a career in the meetings and events industry that is slightly outside, I guess, the ones that everyone knows, the CBDs, hotels, catering companies, event companies. And you probably hear, I'll be speaking for myself, but I know Rolando and John Chen and Amy who are speaking after me, there will be a common theme here of we've all basically followed a passion and taken that into the meetings and events industry, a slightly left of centre course. And Miguel also asked me to give a couple of tips, sort of tell my story and then give a couple of tips on, to help you guys become successful, and we'll get to that. But I guess, like I said, to tell you the answer at the start, so you've got to do something that you're passionate about, and it's not going to be easy. It's not going to just get handed to you. It's going to be hard work, and you're going to have to face, some rejection and some disappointments, and it doesn't all just fall in your lap. But if you're doing something that you love, it's a lot more enjoyable than doing something that you don't enjoy. So you've probably heard it before, but it's true. So. My story, the way I ended up in the meetings and events industry, which like Miguel, I didn't sort of plan to do it, but I was in a band when I was at school. When I was 13, 14, I was in a band in Australia. I'm from Australia. I actually live in Las Vegas, but this is my Australian accent. And I was with, a rock band with four friends from school. And that band, when we were about 21, got signed by a record label, AC/DC's record label, and we went over to the UK and we were there for the whole Britpop thing, which probably seems like ancient history for you guys, but Oasis and Blur, and anyone remember any of those bands? Yeah? It's like the Beatles for me. It's like black and white TV. And so I played guitar and keyboards and wrote songs in that band. And after about 10 years, when that band broke up, I came back to Australia, and I'd studied law before the band got signed. And when the band broke up, I didn't quite know what to do. I didn't want to form another band. I didn't know what to do. And my girlfriend at the time was working for a recruiter with IBM, and he said, "Do you want to come and work for IBM?" And my response was, "I don't know, not particularly." He goes, it's going to pay a lot more than what you're getting paid at the moment, which is nothing, because I just arrived back from London and I really didn't know what to do. So I went and had a look, had an interview, and I ended up working at IBM in their global financing division for 9 years. They put me through an MBA, and I worked in Sydney and New York, working on various business projects. But during that time, I was still writing songs. I was still keeping the passion alive for me, writing songs for pop stars in Australia. And as a result of that, I was asked there's an Australian band called Yotha Yindi, is our most famous and successful Indigenous Aboriginal band, and they put on a big festival up in the north of Australia each year. And they asked me if I could come up and run some songwriting workshops with Aboriginal school kids as part of the festival, where I'd get 20 kids. We'd have 2 hours to write a song from scratch, and then we'd record it and they'd perform that song live at the festival that night, which was an absolutely petrifying experience for me. The first time they had the equivalent of the Today Show there, so I had a dirty big camera in my face and 20 kids and writing. I'd never written a song, on the clock before, and we wrote a song in Yolngu, which is one of the native tongues there. I don't speak Yolngu. And I had to help these kids sing this song. So it was the hardest gig I've ever done, and it was an amazing experience for me. The kids loved it, and we did about 10 of those groups over the course of the week. And then when I came back to Sydney, a friend who has his own company asked if I could do something similar with his sales team. And I've been on some pretty good and some pretty bad team building experiences with IBM. I've been on lots of incentives and general sessions and executive retreats, and so I said, look, I'll take them to a recording studio and we'll see what happens. So I took a group of around 30 sales guys and girls into a recording studio. We wrote a song, an original song using some talent from the group, a guy who played a bit of guitar, and then everyone else wrote the lyrics, and they had a ball, and then a bank asked me to do it, and the next bank asked me to do it, Price Waterhouse asked me to do it, and Virgin asked me to do it. So at that point, it was like, well, I think there might be a business here, so I formed Song Division, And that was coming up to 10 years ago in Sydney, and we now have an office in Sydney, New York, Las Vegas, Amsterdam, London, and we just started in Sao Paulo. We just had our first event in Sao Paulo about 2 weeks ago, all held in Portuguese. So that's where we're at, and we use the best musicians in the world. We use musicians who play with Prince and David Bowie and Lady Gaga and Adele, CeeLo Green, we use more current terms here, and we get corporate groups to write songs about the event objective. So it's an amazingly fun job. We have an amazing team. It's hard work, but as I was saying, we work 27 hours a day, 8 hour days a week, which I'm sure John and Rolando and Amy will tell you it's not easy, but we love doing it, and there's a lot of, especially if you're setting up your own business, there's a lot of, I heard it recently, they say successful people are people who can cope with disappointment. If you do something that doesn't work the first time, you don't go, okay, well, I'm not going to try that again. Some people do really well at school and they're used to doing well, and then they sort of want to protect themselves. They don't want to have to do anything wrong after that. The best thing you guys can do is get out there, get as much experience as you can, work out what you enjoy doing, make some mistakes, get some rejections, get used to rejections, and just keep moving forward and do something that you enjoy doing, and you'll be successful. So that's my 10 minutes there, Miguel. Yeah? That was 2 minutes. That was a long 2 minutes. Did anyone have any questions? Miguel.
I'm really jealous of your job. How do I get a job?
How do you get a job with us? Miguel is an amazing musician, by the way. He's a bona fide musician, producer. Well, how do we get a job with us? We have a sales representative in the different regions that we work in, and they're full-time employees. All the musicians are top touring and recording session musicians. So if anyone plays with Prince or Lady Gaga, you can get a job with us. And they're not full-time. It's obviously if they're available, we use them. If they're not, we use someone else. So we're just starting to look into internships. I know Rolando uses internships here in Las Vegas. Who's from Las Vegas? Yeah? So we could, you can come and talk to us if you're interested in internships. It's something we haven't done yet, so we wouldn't be, you'd have to work it out with us. Yeah.
Any other questions? Question?
Yeah. Just really good at experiential marketing.
So a lot of the events that we do are corporate meetings and events, so we'll do, team building events within, say, a 3-day sales kick-off. So Microsoft has a sales kick-off for, all the representatives from around the country or from around the world, and they'll have a 3-day event, big opening general session. We're brought in to kick off the opening general session when they walk in, and then there's a band on stage, and we're always focusing on the objectives of the event. So we'll be playing a song that's about a new drug, if it's Pfizer, and when they're doing team building events, they're writing about their sales targets or a new drug, and then the band plays the party. So that's a lot of work we do as corporate meetings and events. We also do the experiential marketing campaigns that we do. Two quick examples are, because our clients are here on the trade show floor, we did an event with Visit Britain, where Visit Britain is promoting Britain as a destination, and they invited all the leading tour operators in the US, so the CEOs of the leading tour operator organisations that send big travel groups over to the UK. They flew them into New York, and we took them into there was about 30 of them, and we took them into a very famous New York recording studio, and we had a band of guys who played with Aerosmith and David Bowie, and they split them into groups and they wrote songs about what they love about Britain. And that was all filmed, and there was a media team there, and there was a big, then that went out into the market, so it went out into the travel media, and they did a week-long campaign. The first one was, what does David Bowie and the CEO of Trafalgar Tours have in common as like a teaser, and then they showed little snippets of those CEOs in a recording studio, which is not where you normally expect them to be with the headphones on, and then that all led up to the performance of Got to Go to Britain, Got to Go Now, and it was a campaign because the exchange rate was good, people would get good value for their money, and I think they got 60,000 hits on the website and won an award for it. And we've done similar events with Switzerland Tourism in the UK and in Australia. And we'll do events with, Procter & Gamble if they're doing a shampoo, which is not really in the events world. If there's a new shampoo and they're targeting 15-year-old girls, they'll do a radio competition or online competition as if send in a shot of you with your hairbrush singing your favourite Lady Gaga song, and you can win the chance to write your own song and record it with Lady Gaga's producer in Capitol Studios in LA. So it's not an internal event, it's a marketing campaign. Thanks guys, thanks Miguel, thanks Karen.